Thank you for tuning in to Perks Pod Podcast. If you are one of the one or two, maybe three, I'm being optimistic here, people that consistently listen to my podcast, you may notice an audio difference, and that is because I finally got myself an actual microphone. I am no longer recording on my the voice recording app on my phone. I have a legit microphone set up right in front of me, and I have to say I'm actually quite pleased with how it sounds. This is the first time I've ever set up a microphone with headphones listening to myself speak, and I am very very happy with the clarity and quality of the sound. I did some research on YouTube on like what would be the best microphones to start out for a podcast. Nothing too expensive, especially since I'm not usually not making money off of this. At least not yet. Hopefully. But yeah, I got a new setup connected to my computer, so it's going straight there. This is actually pretty fun. I don't know how far I'm going to take this podcasting thing. Some people actually thoroughly enjoy me talking a lot. I definitely enjoy talking, even though most of the time it's to myself. Definitely plan on having a couple more episodes come out, in the coming week. Definitely have one that I'm planning with my homeboy Philip. Plan on having him as a guest. Now, I don't know if I'm going to use the microphone with that one because this microphone, as good as it sounds, it definitely blocks out a lot of the sound noise. I have my fan running right now, and you probably can't even hear it. My voice, at least to me, sounds like it goes in and out just a little bit. And that's because I'm kind of moving in a swivel chair and I'm going around the mic. If I speak straight on like this, super clear, super good. But if I go around the mic and, talking from left to right and I'm only moving a few inches around, the sound kind of muffles a little bit. So it's definitely very focused on just getting, that sound that's coming from in front of it, which I like. But if I do have another guest, I feel like before I buy another microphone, I probably will not use this microphone when I do my near future guest appearances with people. But today I really didn't have any specific topic I wanted to talk about. I was just kind of excited that I got my new equipment and was just kind of winging it, really. Just winging it. Let's just talk about some recent things that have happened. You know what? Actually, now that I think about it, um, let's not talk about recent things. I'm going to talk about a couple of things uh, that led to where I am mentally and physically right now, as far as like my career choice and what I want to do with my life and just where I am physically now, like where I live. Just gonna recount some events that I've been through. Hopefully, it may give some insight on just how to deal with things going forward, because a lot of the things that I will be saying are products of me not doing what I either was supposed to do or just shirking responsibilities. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. So I mentioned my career path, being an actor, and a lot of questions I do get when I tell people that I am an actor is how I got into it, how I decided that would be my future career, and just what led me to pursuing this career choice. As a kid, I always loved movies. My there were plenty of times where Christmases and birthdays, the gifts that I received were movies, and technically, I was a very easy child to please. Um, Kids nowadays, young elementary school kids are wanting iPhones and expensive technology and stuff like that. Me, when I was in elementary school, man, all I really wanted was maybe a couple dollars in my pocket and some movies. You know, um, my favorite movies growing up were the Power Ranger movies and Jurassic Park movies. And the funny thing is, I had so many nightmares about dinosaurs as a kid, but could not stop watching. Jurassic Park. I love dinosaurs. But yeah, I was always a movie geek. I loved watching movies. When I was young, I did a lot of musicals. I did musicals since I was 5 years old, all the way up, basically from kindergarten through the end of grade school. I did a lot of musicals, especially early on. So between first and third grade, I did a lot of musicals. Once I got to middle school, that's when I wanted to branch into actually acting. Because a lot of the musicals, they were mostly singing and choreography, not too much acting at all. And in sixth grade, I decided to give it a shot. This was when I was in England. So if anyone new listening to this has missed or does not know who I am a military child. I was born in Japan, moved to California shortly after I was born, bounced between there and Louisiana a lot, been to Korea and Japan again after, I was a few years old. Just bouncing around, especially since my mom was going on a lot of deployments in my early years. I was definitely with a lot of family members in different states, just different countries as well. So, yeah, I bounced around a lot. When I was 8, we moved to England. We were there for about 4 years. I had my first year in middle school in England, and that was when I was in my first play. Joined the drama club. It was a little play about, some town folks. Like, I was in like a little suit and top hat and everything. I was the mayor. That's right. I played the mayor, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I sucked. I sucked. So my voice, my tone, my projection, all that was there. You can, like, if you were to listen to my performance, like as if it was on a radio, I would say I did a pretty decent job, for a little sixth grader that was in his first actual play. But I was standing there, stiff as a board, hands to my side, fiddling with my suit sleeves. It was actually quite funny looking back at it. But yeah, that was my first play, and even though I didn't do too well, I don't know, I just immediately fell in love with it. We moved to Virginia right afterwards. After sixth grade, we moved to Virginia. Started probably the worst years of my life, middle school, because kids are assholes. In seventh grade, I joined the drama club. I won't say I almost didn't, but I got a few people that definitely did not want me to join the drama club, and it was quite funny because it was one of the few times that I was bullied that I actually really didn't. I almost laughed at it. Them trying to keep me from joining the drama club, and I think that was one of the moments where I realized how much I really loved acting, was the fact that, a lot of the times I was very stressed out and just very mentally drained from all the attacks from other people. But when I basically got threatened to join the drama club, it's almost as if it didn't even happen. I was just so focused on getting in there, getting on stage, performing. And yeah, that was my mindset. And when I went into audition and everything, I can't remember what the show was called. I played some guy who was driving, got lost, car broke down in the middle of nowhere, and was just surrounded by a bunch of just weird town folk. I really cannot remember what it was called or what the plot was, but we ended up doing the one-act play, and we went to the one-act competition in our area. We did not win anything for our school. However, I won Best Actor in our film competition, and I think that not film competition. Sorry, my brain is still bringing up lines. I had an audition earlier, and I had to say film competition so much. I guess it just popped up. But anyway, the one act competition. I won Best Actor for our school in that, and probably the biggest highlight of my middle school career. And my one act, our director was just freaking awesome. I still have a letter that she wrote me. She wrote everybody a letter at the end of everything when Drama Club officially ended for the year. She wrote a handwritten letter to each one of the cast and crew, and I'll never forget it. I still have the letter. I found it the other day, about a couple weeks ago, and I reread it, and it basically said that she thought it was just great to work with me, and she actually apologized in the letter that she did not work with me one-on-one more often. And then she went on to proceed to say it was because she felt like I didn't need it. And she said in the letter that she believed that I can go somewhere with it. And not only did I win Best Actor, but that letter just, man, it just took the motivation and the love that I had for acting and just freaking shot it through the roof. It definitely took off from there. And 8th grade, we had a different director. Honestly, all I'm gonna say is the show. First of all, it was weird. It was about a bunch of blue people. A random girl that gets, for you anime fans out there, isekai'd to just a world with just blue people. And for you non-anime people, that means transported to a different world. And it was just a bunch of blue people, and it was her trying to find her way back, and some weird stuff. And I personally felt like the people that she put as the main performers, the people with the most lines, I did not think that they had the skill or the talent or even the work ethic to really just actually make the performance at least something interesting. So there was a lot of monotonous line reciting. It wasn't even a performance in my eyes. I think it was a poor choice of a production and poor choice of casting. But I can't control that. But yeah, after that, 8th grade assembly, we had an assembly in Virginia Beach, which is where I went to school. For 7th through all the way to graduating high school. We had an assembly, and the assembly was to tell us about all the high schools that have different academies. So in Virginia Beach, I think almost all, if not all, the high schools had an academy attached to it. And there was a what's it called? There was a programming academy. There was a mechanic academy, I think. There was other things, and it's funny because I knew exactly which high school I was going to as soon as it popped up in the slideshow. And it was Salem High School in Virginia Beach, Virginia, Visual and Performing Arts Academy. And as soon as I heard the title, I pretty much figured, I was like, this sounds like a place I would go. Next thing you know, it pops up that they had a theater strand, and I was like, it's exactly where I want to go. And as soon as I got home, I was like, yo, Mom, there's a school, has a theater academy, I'm going there. And of course, they hold auditions for all the strands over the summer. There are 5 strands in Visual Performing Arts Academy. There's theater, there's dance, there's vocal, there's instrumental, and there's art. I actually tried out for theater and art. I tried to do what they call dual strand. Basically, you can be in one strand or you can be in multiple strands. They just kind of divvy up your classes a little bit differently, but yeah, I tried out for both of them. I did not make the art strand, which I'm not surprised, because even though I can draw, I can sketch and I can paint pretty well. However, my skill that would be considered good enough for people to look at and be like, yo, that's actually pretty good, is limited to like anime and cartoons. I'm not too good with still life drawings. I think my best still life drawing I did was a self portrait. The details were very nice. However, I could not make me look like me. Like, I just, the picture that I drew just looked like another different light skinned dude with moles. I tried to put the moles on my face on the exact position that I was looking at. Yeah, it was like my whole upper body, me holding a pencil, probably the best hand drawing that I've ever done. And it was actually a really good drawing. It just did not look like me. It looked like some other person. But yeah, I tried to do that. Didn't get in, but of course, theater strand, made it. Went into freshman year of high school, excited to do something different, something new. Now, it's funny because freshman year of high school, I was still really short. And I still am, but was very baby-faced. The first day of class, I walked out. My first class was the theater class for the academy, and they were out in the, what's it called? The vestibules. They were out in the vestibules, the little portable classrooms outside. And I walked out, and on my first day, there was a guy who worked. It was either an electrician or, I don't know. He was in some big old truck. I just can't remember what he worked as, but he worked for the school. And literally, as I was passing by, he was like, "Hey, kid, are you lost?" And I looked at him sideways, and I was like, no, I'm going to class. He was like, "Oh, you go to school here?" And I was like, yeah. And turns out the guy thought I was in middle school. Like, first of all, who would wake up? By the way, high school, I think, went to school about 30 minutes earlier than middle school. So I was like, who would wake up 30 minutes earlier at about like 5:40 in the freaking morning with a backpack on first day of school and don't go to the high school? Like, I can understand you seeing somebody and being like, man, that kid looks like he's in middle school, or like seeing and like he looks a little young or whatever. But to actually, be like, yo, kid, you lost? Like, no, Negro, I rode the bus here. I know where I'm going. But yeah, it's I went to theater. Was my first class, my first, and I think my last block was theater. My first and my last one. I don't know, one of those. But the interesting about being at the academy was everybody had about six to seven classes. Everybody in the school had about 6 to 7 classes, and it was 8 blocks. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was 8 blocks. You had 4 each day. And each class was, let me see, how long was each class? I'm kind of struggling to remember, because I know that during my high school career, the layout of the classes and how we did class changed so often. Well, I won't say so often, but just enough to make things a little confusing. Because, I mean, I'm freaking 7 years removed from high school, so I have to think back a minute. But yeah, I think there are 8 blocks, 4 a day, and 1 block each day is committed to your lunch. You have study, it's like a study block, and then lunch. And people in the academy didn't get that lunch because we had extra classes outside of everybody that just went to the school regularly. So if you were in the academy, your academy classes took up those times. So academy kids did not get a lunch. Now, I think they changed that. It was my senior year they changed it. because I know for sure my last senior year, because of the way that was laid out, they changed how, like, the timing of classes. They extended our school days by, I think, like 35 minutes, and they just changed it around to where the academy kids could finally have lunch, which is crazy because senior year, that's when I had the least amount of classes, and even without the change, I could have ate lunch. But uh, freshman through junior year, my classes were completely booked up to where I did not have a lunch block. So we would eat in class. I think at a certain block, third period, I think our teacher would devote like 30 minutes at the beginning of class for us to eat in class. Some teachers were really cool and let us kind of eat throughout class as long as we weren't being obnoxious about it. And some teachers were sticklers. They'd be like, hey, yeah, as soon as that 30 minutes up, food away, don't want to see nothing, don't even want to see gum in your mouth or whatever. But yeah, I went into the theater academy. First year of theater academy was introduction to theater. Second year, I can't remember the official term, but we basically learned a lot about wardrobe. We learned a lot about props, stage props, and stage makeup. I think that was probably, I think as far as like just outside of regular acting, that was probably the most fun class that we had. That whole second year was devoted to stage makeup, clothes, and props, and just kind of like getting the layout of a stage and setting up a stage. So that was fun. Third year was musical theater. Spent a year learning about watching musicals, learning about choreography and stuff like that. And senior year was senior seminar, which is basically we moved more so from the acting aspect of theater to the production aspect. We became the producers, the writers, the planners of everything, and learning how to, write a script or, put together a casting call and actually cast. For our senior project, I think, or it wasn't senior project. I can't remember what it was called, but there was an event for Theater Academy where the seniors would write 10-minute plays, 10-minute shorts, write a script, get it approved, and then we would hold actual auditions for underclassmen or just, juniors and underclassmen to come in, audition for roles. We, cast them and put on productions for one night a few months later. And that was actually a lot of fun. I had participated in the previous year. Our seniors, while we were juniors, did that. I had got casted for one of their stuffs and did that the year before, so I was very aware of everything. Our senior project, for some reason, I just cannot remember what it was, but it just had to do with production. Senior year was actually a very easy year. Very relaxed. It was like, man, as long as you got your stuff done just during class, it was such a relaxed year. It was a great year. When we graduated high school, I had failed to submit to colleges. I had failed to submit my transcripts and apply for college at the big colleges that I was planning on going to. I know that NC State was one of them. UGA was one of them. Texas A&M was one of them. University of California. All of those had great veterinary programs. That was my backup plan, to become a veterinarian if acting didn't work out. And I had forgot to basically apply. I didn't do it early enough. So even though my grades were good, my transcripts were good, I just applied too late and then ended up basically getting rejected by everyone. Because, that's what happens when you freaking apply for colleges 2 months before you graduate. Half my class was applying before even half the senior year was out. I messed up and I did that. Didn't get into any of the big ones that I wanted to get into. So I had a lot of choices to make. My dad was stationed in Louisiana, and I had visited him at one point during my senior year. I think it was during spring break, and we had made a visit to LSU in Baton Rouge and everything, and took a tour. And it was between going to LSU or kind of sticking with where my mom was going. And my mom and my stepdad had got married my senior year, and my stepdad had just got stationed in Warner Robins in Georgia. So they had already moved in maybe about, I would say 4 or 5 months before I graduated high school. And basically it was like, once I graduate, my mom would move down there. My sister would start freshman year of high school. So even though she was moving, it would still kind of be not like, just leaving something that you're already comfortable with. So she would start freshman year of high school down here. I would start freshman year of college. And there's a little college down here, Middle Georgia State. Now, the funny thing is, it was a college, like a little almost community college. It became a university the summer I moved down here. So normally, the tuition would have been a certain amount. It more than doubled the year I came down here, which, kind of ticked my mom off, which is funny. But, we took out a little loan for the first year. Wanted to live here for a year so that I can get, I can establish, a state of residency and get the in-state tuition. So that's what we did. And my first 2 years, I didn't do anything acting related. I was so focused on, getting classes done and getting school done and, just trying to figure out how to work with that. And like I said, I had left Virginia, and that's where I did all my acting, and people that I knew who were acting was just away from it all. And something never really stood out in me to just like go searching for actors or people that like to produce or whatever, and just put that aspect of me out there, that I act, that I do all this. I don't know why. I just didn't. Probably because I was so focused on school. But for the first 2 years, I did not do anything acting related. What year is it? 2022? Was it 2018 or 2017? 15, 16, 17, 2018. Very beginning of 2018. No, 2017, sorry. Yes, 2017. I ran into a guy. His name is Philip Wheeler. Yeah, Philip freaking Wheeler. And we were in public speaking, and we had an assignment to make a speech teaching people how to do something. People had very interesting speeches. One girl had a speech on how to make the perfect PB&J. One dude, he taught us how to do a backflip, which was fun. Another dude taught us how to pass a basketball. Philip, it's funny because I think his was how to animate a drawn picture. Like make a digital photo of a drawn picture, some kind of editing software. I thought it was pretty neat. I went up there and my speech was how to break down a script. So I basically just went back to the basics, went back to first year in high school of the academy, taught them how to break down a script, talked about obstacles, talked about tactics, talked about objectives, broke all that down. And after I finished, Philip, he sat in front of me and he turned around and he was like, "Hey, so you act?" And I was like, yeah, I act or whatever. And after leaving class, he followed me out and he started talking about himself. And how he does work with a camera. And, you know, he was talking to me about some things that he wanted to get off the ground as far as filming. And I was just like, yeah, sure. So we exchanged contact information. We started to hang out a few times outside of class or whatever, try to get to know each other a little bit. I always tease him about this. At one point, he had a film idea, and he was like, "Yeah, I wanna give you a role or whatever. It's gonna be one of the bigger roles." And I was like, "All right, bet." And then later, he was like, "Okay, so role changed. We have a different role for you, so I'm gonna give you that one." I was like, "All right, bet." And then he did that maybe like one other time until I was just out of the project completely. I mean, I didn't have any hurt feelings about it, but it was just something I peeped. And the guy that he had as the main, turns out he was on some other stuff, with like, extortion is the wrong word. I would say take advantage. He was trying to take advantage of Philip, and it ended up not falling through. And I always tease him about it. I'd be like, "Ha, that's what you get for dropping me off the project." But we ended up actually doing a little video, that idea that he had. It's called Aphrodite. It's on his YouTube. And so on Philip Wheeler's YouTube, Rectify Productions. If you guys have a chance, go look up his YouTube, subscribe to it. But yeah, we made a little video, and I don't know, after that, the creative space just kind of took off. And then we started making Euphorica. He came to me and was like, "Yo, I got an idea. This is what it is, and I want you to help me out with it. I want you to be the main character." I did a lot of work on the dialogue. If you guys have watched or ever watched Euphorica and you notice that there's not a lot of dialogue, that's because originally his first idea was to make it a silent film. And with the vision we wanted and what we wanted to get across with the film, a silent film wasn't the right approach. So he created a script. A little mediocre. He's not the best at writing dialogue, I would say. But that is actually one of my fortes, which is part of the reason why me and him gel so well, is because one thing I will say about Philip is he's so open to other ideas, and he's so open to working with different concepts that it's never an issue bringing just new ideas to him, or, you know, being creative around him, because he's not the type to be like, "No, this is my project. I want it how I want it, and you can't change it." Like, he's not like that. He's not on any type of energy like that. So it's always been wonderful working with Philip. And I started changing around some dialogue, making it a little more, like making the dialogue flow a little bit easier. Still kind of awkward in some parts, but you know, it was our first one. And we filmed Euphorica, man. We filmed in December of. Okay, when did we win? I think. Give me a second to go back in time real quick to really think about it. So what? Hold on. So 2021, so we won in 2019. So 2018. Okay, so I met Philip in 2018. But December of 2018 is when we started filming. Almost froze my freaking fingers off on several occasions, because the jacket that I wore was actually his. The arms were way too short, so I always wore them pulled up. And it was not a thick jacket either. And we're filming, and it's 40 degrees every other day, and we're filming outside. And at night, we went to the botanical gardens and filmed there. Freaking freezing. Neither of us could feel our hands after that day. But it was a lot of fun, and it was worth it. We went into the Macon Film Festival 2019, won the award for best short film. I got acquainted with some people at the short film, and after that, man, I think that film festival was what really set me off for acting as an adult, I would say. The same thing that my 7th grade year, when I won Best Actor and got that letter from my director, that film festival did that for me as an adult. And it was actually so much stronger because I got a taste of the real film world. I got to see what it's like to go to these festivals, to see yourself on a screen, to be approached by people and be like, hey, you were in that film, or hey, you did wonderful, like, hey, calling me my character name, and having questions asked and being interviewed, and connecting with other people and just networking. It was such a surreal experience that it almost made me go crazy, man. Because this stuff doesn't happen overnight. You have to work your way up. A lot of people, they'll hear the things that I'm doing or see what I'm doing with myself, and they'll be like, "Bro, you doing the damn thing," or like, you're out there doing it. And while they're not completely wrong, there's a lot behind the scenes that you have to go through with this process of trying to get your name out there and trying to get more productions under your belt. It's definitely a hustle, and it does not happen overnight. There are seasons. There'll be times where you're getting a lot of work and times where you're getting nothing. And there's just a lot of connections you got to make, a lot of grinding you got to do, and a lot of pursuing. And it was just, it just took off after that. I became very impatient, wanting to do this now and wanting to get casted so quickly and wanting productions to hurry up and cast me, or hurry up and let's film this. And I ended up getting very impatient. I had to take a minute to really bring myself down to earth and bring myself back to the reality that, like I said, this stuff doesn't happen overnight. And I became very frustrated, but not frustrated in the sense where I got displeased with acting or the whole process, or even discouraged. It was frustrating as in it made me hungrier to just go after it. I learned to find that level of patience. I still find myself every now and then kind of at odds with myself, especially in moments where I know that nothing's really coming up and I just got to do regular citizen work at a regular job type stuff just to pay bills and put money on the table and make sure I feed myself. But the film festival really took that hunger and brought it to a new level. Did the same for Philip. And then after that we went into making the film Midnight, which is still not completely done. But when I tell you that, I think that was the project that really brought us to reality of what it means to create a film. Not saying that Euphorica wasn't, but creating a completely original story, creating dialogue that doesn't sound corny and cheesy and that goes well, casting more than how many people? I don't know. Casting more than 10, 15 actual characters that'll be, that have names that are in the film. Euphorica, we had just two. It was just me. It was just Miles and Arthur. Me and Mark. That was it. Where Midnight, it's a feature film, so that is over. With what we have now, the runtime, it's almost 4 times as long as Euphorica was. So not only was it, leagues longer than Euphorica, you had locations, props, a crew, so many more actors, and a whole bunch of schedules we had to work around, and the writing process and the filming and editing. And man, when I tell you that it is a lot. And we started almost 3 years ago. The first film day for Euphorica was, no, not almost 3 years ago. Oh yeah, actually, hold on. The first film day for you for Midnight. When was that? I think it was August 2nd. My sister's birthday, by the way. August 2nd of 2020. That was the first film day, but we had been writing uh writing Midnight for almost a year prior, because we started writing even before, either right after or right before the you know the film festival, the Macon Film Festival that we went to in 2019. So right before or right after, and the film festival was in August. So it would be going on 3 years in the works. A year of writing, um, about a year of filming, and man, it's so much that goes with it, and a lot of people don't understand how much sacrifice that everyone made, how much money, time, um, just resources that we spent making that film. And I'm very proud of the people we worked with. I'm very proud of Philip. Man, he trucked through it, man. He had so much on his plate. There were just so many moments where things got tense, things got stressful, and he still pushed through it. And things got the same way for me, just with acting, things I had outside of acting, just in my regular life. It's just a lot, man. And I'm very proud of everyone that worked on that. Shout out to Philip, shout out to Jacob, shout out to Walter, Levi, Hannah, Clint, Garrett, all the people that worked with us. Dustin, Dustin, man, put in so much money, helped us out so much, and it was just an overall, just very great learning experience. It wasn't always fun, but it was a very great learning experience. And once that gets done, editing and everything, we already have another film idea that we plan on doing. Me and Philip have released a couple of short films. They're all on his YouTube. Like I said, check it out. Rectify Productions, Reminiscent. There are our little musical short. We have the our comedy that we released, and for some reason I just can't remember what it was called. Our comedy. Dang it. Yeah, I can't remember what it was called. But it's all on there. It's all on his YouTube. So yeah, and that brings me to where I am now. Kind of skipped a couple of things, I've been in two commercials. Two commercials, a PSA video, a gun awareness video by the Peyton Anderson Foundation that won a Telly Award. So that was fun. And I've been casted in a couple other stuff that's coming up later on this year. And also unforeseen things happen too. I've had two productions that were supposed to be going on this month, actually. This month and next month. One got canceled. The other got postponed, all due to just several different factors, several different instances with people and scheduling and, production things. And sometimes those things happen, and it sucks and it really hurts to hear. And sometimes, at one point, I had to humble myself, like why are all these things happening? Because I'm dealing with a lot of independent producers, but I also have to remember there are a lot of big budget and big production companies that have to shelve productions, either before they even start filming, and sometimes even after they start filming. That stuff happens all the time. So I just had to remind myself that this is just part of the business. Just because you get casted in something and the production is going to come up doesn't mean that it's a for sure thing that it's going to happen. So that's one thing that I had to recently wrap my mind around. Recently I, got an agent earlier this year. Got my headshots the end of last year. I'm glad that I got them when I did. Lost a lost a little bit of weight before I ended up getting them. Getting myself back in shape. Gave myself the best haircut I ever given myself. Man, that haircut that I gave myself when I went to go do my headshots was probably the cleanest. I mean, all my edge up is clean every time, but that was the cleanest fade I had ever given myself. I have not had a better or even on par fade since or before that happened. But it was for my headshot, so I ain't even mad, But I had recently got got the professional headshots. I recently got an agent, East Coast Talent Agency, and recently in the last couple months they've been sending me a lot of stuff. Haven't gotten anything yet, but you always have to find the silver lining. Just because I'm not getting roles, I do understand the fact that being sent these things just means that my face is actually getting out there. People are seeing my face, they're seeing my acting, and maybe I'm not getting casted because I'm not talented enough, or maybe it's just because I just don't have the exact look along with the talent that they're looking for. I recently went to an audition where I was told my performance was 10 out of 10, perfect, knocked it out the park. I was told that by the actual board of producers who watched me audition. And yet, I was told that even if I don't get that role, they'll probably be reaching out to me about, other roles that they might want me to fill. I didn't even get contacted. Technically, I just found out that they had filmed what I had auditioned for yesterday. Because I was never contacted. I had a friend who also auditioned for the same thing, and she had asked me, did you ever hear anything back from them? I was like, nah, they're probably still trying to figure things out. And I was like, you know what? Let me go to the Facebook of one of the people that I know is on the production company. Turns out they had been filmed it and released it 3 weeks ago. So it just goes to show that this industry, man, just the whole way things are done, it's so in the air whenever you do anything. Because like I said, I was told personally by the entire board that it was a perfect performance and that I couldn't have done any better. And yet I didn't even get a call back when they kind of hinted that basically I would get a call back. And I've had productions where I've auditioned for and stone-faced, didn't receive no feedback. They was just like, okay, bye. And next thing you know, I get a call saying that they want me to do a role. So it's the nature of acting, man. I don't know how else to best explain it. There's not a set way to do things in this line of work. That's why there's so many different ways to go about doing things and so many different personalities. It's why it's so much different than a regular job, because you go into a job, there's already a set level of professionalism you gotta have. There's already a set way that you can talk to people or give out information. There's a certain process you have to go through to do certain things. But in this industry, there is none of that. Everyone, depending on what your position is, can do things how they want to. And, of course, there's certain lines that definitely should not be crossed. However, especially when it comes to the area of professionalism, there's not a set outline of what is okay and what's not, whether it's how to talk to your crew and cast, or what you do with your production, or how you go about casting, how you go about making changes. That's all up to you or to the person who is in charge of it. And as long as they're not doing anything illegal or that you can get like legally charged with, it's up to their discretion. And they can tell you one thing and something completely different happens, or they can give you just one vibe, and then next thing you know, something else happens that you never would have expected based on how they act or how they feel or how they speak. So it's definitely fun, though. It's fun meeting people, seeing all these different type of personalities. I have witnessed firsthand the differences, the wide variety of differences in directors and how they work and how they interact with their actors and stuff like that. And it's funny because remember Philip, he had a big worry of when he kind of puts his foot down and has moments where he kind of like gathers everyone and gets everyone on the same page. He had a worry that he was too forceful or too forward, worrying about hurting people's feelings. And man, after a couple of productions I went through last year, I was like, bro, you ain't got nothing to worry about. Because trust me, there's other producers and other directors that will be a lot more blunt and a lot more rude when it comes to getting people in line or getting people on track. So it's like I said, the nature of it. But I just enjoy it, man. I fell in love with it the first time I got on stage, and there are just things that keep happening that make me fall more in love with acting and with performing. Although I do strictly film now, there are just certain aspects I miss about theater. I think the biggest aspect would be the performance. And when I mean by performance, I mean when you get on stage. As soon as you get on stage and start that first line, once that first line leaves and echoes through the auditorium, there's no stopping. There's no cut. There's no let's do it over again. That performance, once you start it, once that audience hears and sees you come out on the stage, it's just that. You got to keep going, and you forget a line, improvise. Something happens, improvise. A prop falls apart, improvise. And that's, I think, the biggest thing I miss about theater. However, film, that's just where my heart is, man. That's what I love to do. I've found that there are certain film styles that I love more than others. I love doing long takes. I would rather do the same scene all the way through 20 times than to do the scene in 20 parts all one time, if that makes sense. Like I'd rather them go, all right, we're going to go from the top of the scene to the bottom of the scene, and we're going to film it in 20 different angles, do it 20 different times. I would rather do that than to be like, all right, we're going to film this scene. You're going to say this line one time, then I'm going to switch cameras. I'm going to go to this angle. You say that line one time, then we're going to cut, and we do this angle. I've done both and definitely prefer doing, the scene over and over again. That's also one thing that I learned, shows that you truly love something is the repetition, how you feel doing the things that, also how you feel doing the things that aren't necessarily fun. Everyone in the acting business hates auditions. I don't think I've met one person that says, oh yeah, I enjoy auditioning. Never. Other than auditions, the most grueling part of acting I actually enjoy. The research, the breaking down a script, the reading over and over, the in-depth dive that you have to do for your character to get yourself in that mindset. I love doing those things. And that's the real work to acting. Someone said that what you do on screen is 10% of the job. I wouldn't say that like the percentage is that low, but basically the principle of what they're saying is true. What you do on screen is a very small portion of what you do as an actor. There's so many other things that go into it. And then, with my brother Horace, shout out to Da Vinci. He does music and he makes rap music. I will say on here, and I'm not sorry for this, that some of the best songs that I've ever heard him make, he has not released, or did not release, and irritated the hell out of me. But the man can make good music if he really applies himself, and he's been finding his sound recently, trying new things, and I'm really proud of him because he's really been working hard towards it, and he's been growing. For sure. He's been, definitely improving. But I went to the studio with him one time, and there's a part of me that likes, rapping, and I'd make rap music for fun, and I enjoy writing, not just in acting, or not just writing scripts, but I love writing music, love writing lyrics, and I love writing spoken word. And I thought about rapping a little bit. I've made a couple of songs myself. You guys would probably never hear them. Too bad, so sad. But I went to the studio with him, and he had to repeat. He repeated a verse so many times, and I was just sitting, outside the booth, just listening to it, and I was just like, "Yo, I couldn't do this. I couldn't repeat the same line over and over. I'd probably get tired of it." But then I thought about it, and I was like, "Well, that's how I am with acting. I could say a couple of lines and do the same blocking, same movement 30 times in a row and still not get tired of it." And I think that is something that, is a symbol of how I feel about this profession. The fact that I can do things over and over and over and over again and not get tired, I think is a testament to my love for acting and just my drive for it. And same thing with my brother, saying that he can do that over and over and over again, and seeing him put other things that he likes to do to the side for, making his music. I can tell that this is his passion and he loves to do it. And like I said, I'm proud of him. I wish the best for him. I will continue to support him, to, give him advice when he asks for it, or needs it. And just to see him grow makes me proud. And to see how he supports me and how he asks me questions and wants to tag along when I act, it's awesome. I think Horace, we're not blood related. He's my stepbrother. But at the same time, I think that me and Horace probably have a stronger bond than I have with my other brothers, to be honest. And not saying that I don't love my other brothers, not saying that I don't have a bond with them, but just the things that we talk about, the things that we do together, and the support that me and him show for each other and for what we're doing, I don't have that with any of my other brothers. And it's awesome. It's awesome. My little brother Trajan, he just turned 16. He likes to do. I think he streams video games. I think he streams, but he likes to stream. Does his own little YouTube thing. And while I do support it, me and him don't talk about it that often, or we don't show the same kind of mutual support as me and my brother Horace. That's mostly thanks to him, though. I'm not gonna say that's my fault. This definitely ain't my fault. And Trajan, if you listen to this, it's definitely your fault. Just want to let you know. But yeah, I guess this is all I really wanted to talk about, man. Just to show what kind of led to me being here, me loving what I love to do, and to show you guys why I have the drive and the hunger for what I do. Yeah, it's not always, sunshine and rainbows, of course. Because like I said, in the past few weeks, I've had 2 productions kind of halt. One completely went down in the water, and the other one's postponed. I can't wait for that to come back up, because that one's going to be very, very exciting. I can't wait. And I'll keep you guys posted on that as we go. But I still have other things that I'm going to do, and later on this year, I'm going to be going up to Atlanta to do a web series. In October, I'm going out to Tampa to do a show as well. And it's just a lot of exciting things. And I'm still continuously getting auditions sent to me by my agent. And while I haven't bagged anything too big yet, something in me, something inside really is telling me that something's coming. Something good is coming. My time is coming. And all I got to do is just be patient, make sure that I get what I need to do done, so that I can still, pay for what I need to in the meantime. But something's going to happen. And when that something happens, you best believe that I'm going to seize that opportunity and make the most out of it, man. And I encourage everyone that listens to this to do that with whatever they're doing, no matter how small or big it is. If it's a dream, a hobby, whatever, just work. Once that opportunity presents itself, take a hold of it, man. I've been presented with a lot of opportunities, and some I was too lazy to capitalize on. And who knows? Who knows what would have happened if I, would have went with that opportunity. You can have that person in the back of your head saying, oh, you probably wouldn't have got that role anyways. Or, oh, what kind of role you fit or what kind of archetype you kind of embody. And sometimes you can look at something and say, nah, I'm not the best man for this role. But at the same time, that's not for you to decide. It's up to the casting directors. And you never know. There could be something that you auditioned for that even in the back of your head, you're like, I would never get cast for this. You never know. Something might happen. You might have that look or some kind of edge that they weren't expecting, that they're like, oh, wait, hold on now. Maybe we can work with this guy. Maybe he brings something that we didn't even think about. So that's also just something for everyone to think about. It may not seem like something that you would be best at or something that you may not be accepted for, but, that cliche line, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So, it is what it is. But, yeah, I'm done ranting about me. I went on for a whole hour talking about myself. But, yeah, I thank you guys for tuning in, anyone who listened to this on either Spreaker or YouTube. If you listen to this on YouTube, please leave a comment. You guys are not leaving comments. And I see you viewing my stuff. You view my stuff, but you do not leave comments. Leave a comment, or I will come after you. I will look at my statistics. I will look at everything, my data, and I will see who views my stuff. And if you don't leave a comment, I will find you. I won't kill you, but I will find you. So, yeah, leave a comment, man, and just give me any advice, how to make this more personable, any ideas for future podcasts, and let me know how this sound quality feels. If you guys notice a difference, I already spent my money on it, but, if you guys notice a difference, if it's worth getting another microphone for when I have guests, I want to kind of see how that is, but, yeah, I want to sincerely thank you guys so much for listening. Not many people have been listening, but to the few people who have, thank you. If I've inspired anybody or, helped change any perspectives, that's all I care about, reaching you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and log off. Thank you once again. Thank you for listening to Perks Pod Podcast. This is Jelani Perkins speaking, and I am